describe this album as Waiting to Excel, Sisterhood,
Yes.
you know, and I know it's not dedicated to Whitney, but it's an honor of Whitney, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that some of the proceeds are going to the Whitney Houston Academy.
Yes.
Right. And I want to know what song did you record? Now I know we all know Jesus Loves Me. We think of Whitney Houston.
Mm-hmm.
What other song did you sing on the album that made you think of Whitney?
One of the songs on the album that certainly makes me think of Whitney is Sister Friend, which is the second song. We have the theme song, Loving Me, which is the theme song from R&B Divas that all the divas are on. But Sister Friend is the second record on the album that all the girls from the cast are singing on. And it's just about, you know, being a good friend, being a sister, uplifting each other, you know, being there when you're sad, being there when you're happy, but just being, you know, someone that you know you can depend on and lean on when you need it. And, you know, unexpectedly, that was sort of who Whitney became in my life. That's how she presented herself to me, you know, as a sister friend when I was going through something, and we weren't already established friends, you know, but that meant so much to me, and that's why I had so much love for her.
Well, I want to know, you said that you like to record alone in the studio. You even told Claude Kelly to leave when you were recording Tears of Joy.
Just on a little one part. Just
Okay,
on one part.
okay.
I
So-
usually don't want nobody in there the whole time. See, he was lucky.
Wow.
I let him stay in there for most of the session.
So how were you able to sing alongside Whitney Houston and Kelly Price during the Heartbreak Hotel? And what was that recording process like?
Have you ever heard the phrase, you know, good under pressure? Because I'll admit, you know, a lot of the recording, like, you know, a big part of my career, my sustenance in my career has been from my features and stuff. I've done features with so many people, and I'm always nervous when I'm in the studio or in the room singing in front of other singers. It's so crazy. Not scared, like I don't think I can do anything, but I don't know, it's just a weird, like, subconscious clam up thing. Like, I don't know, I'd be like, what, I'm sorry, can you leave out while I couldn't do that in Whitney's house, in her studio, you know. I had to deliver. But, you know, it's easier when you know, certain parts are already laid out. You kind of have a clear idea of what you need to do. When it gets to the ad-libs and you got to freestyle, that's when I'd be like, I need y'all to leave. I'm sorry. I know people probably be like, is she bugging? Like, really? Is she doing this to get attention or something? But I really do better when it's just me and the engineer. But I couldn't do that time.
So what was that recording process like? I mean, because few of us who can sing or not sing could ever have a memory of being in the studio with Whitney recording a song.
You know what? I think because in that situation, what was wanted from myself and Kelly was specifically what those people who were already, you know, Whitney is that, you know, that's like up there, you know, and we just happen to fall somewhere in the stratosphere, you know. So what we gave on our solo records is what was expected of us. So, you know, I felt a little better when I'm like, okay, hold on one more time, and they're like, no, just do what you do. That's what we want. We want you to do what we hear you doing on your records. We don't want you to change it up. So that made me feel a lot more comfortable. You know, I'm like, I may not be able to do that high note like Whitney, and, you know, do that riff like Kelly.
Well, we want Faith anyway.
Well, that was what made me be able to pull it off, girl.
Oh my goodness.
Truthfully.
Well, because I'm a huge Whitney Houston fan, as you can see, I have heard, and I love me some Faith Evans.
Thank you.
From the beginning.
Where are you from?
I am from Springfield, Illinois.
Okay.
Little place, but I went to school in Atlanta, and you know, but no, I'm here. But I really love you. I really love Whitney Houston, huge fan. And I've heard the stories of when you were in the airport and she ran through security to give you, said Whitney, and she gave back and gave you love at your 30th birthday party, when she was on Bobby's back, and she was there before.
My 25th birthday party, she was there.
I want to hear an untold story.
I may have told this story before, but it wasn't well traveled. So you may not have heard it. I remember around the time, this was probably maybe a year or two before Being Bobby Brown came out, and I lived in Georgia at the time, and they were my neighbors, and she would come by my house, you know, a few times a week just to hang out in the afternoon before the kids get out of school. And they were just we were listening to music, drinking wine, sitting on my patio, and they were having one of their regular little, you know, episodes. It was like just the way they were with one another. It was funny. It was like crazy, you know. They'll curse each other out, but a smile on their face, you know, and kiss each other right out. I mean, it was just how they were. And they said to me after this whole back and forthness, they just did this whole episode in front of me. You know, we're thinking about doing a reality show. And I'm like, you just did the whole pilot right there in front of me, you know? So that's not far from me believing. Like, I saw y'all do the whole first episode, right? He was like, you need to go home. You didn't take your medicine. Get out of here. F you. I love you. Mwah. But that was them. And, you know, a lot of my memories with her include Bobby, you know, and Bobby Chris. So, you know, they both hold a special place in my heart. But I've told that story before, but you had to be there.
I never heard
You had to be there.
I never heard it. And, you know, I met Whitney Houston on MTV. I was the fanatic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
and I was there at the Kelly Price pre-Grammy party, and she only stopped for me and gave me the biggest hug.
Wow.
Yeah, that night. And so, you know, I would have loved to have been her friend, but I was too starstruck because Whitney was very down to earth. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I'm your friend, and she would give me love, but I was too starstruck. So I just want to know, what was it like to be Whitney Houston's friend?
Well, I mean, it was, to be honest, I guess, you know, it's hard to say. I didn't put it in a place of being different than other friendships, but she was Whitney Houston, so that was really the only difference. You know, I remember when there was an incident in Georgia where my ex-husband and I were arrested, and when we got home from jail the next day, our nanny told us that the first person to call the house was Whitney, you know. So it was, you know, it was genuine, and we didn't have to talk or see each other all the time, but, you know, I know that we had a bond. She could be herself. She could be, you know, the girl from Newark.
Studio Q Show, and you know, I'm thrilled to know Quencie T. Thomas.